Today we're going to scan the base and mounting holes on this vise with a touch probe on a CNC bench mill. Then we'll show you how we can bring that into CAD to help design something like a new workbench. Alright, so first we're just going to take this base casting off and find a way to fix it in the vise on the mill. Something I should mention is the very first thing we did was we set X0 and Y0 to be the middle of this circle. So any locations that we get for these holes, so we just finished the probing cycle. So the center of that bore, so the center of the hole that we just probed, is at X 2.1614, Y 2.8670. So those X and Y coordinates are, it's going to be, we saw so we got a positive X value and a positive Y value. You can think of this as being X0 and Y0 because we set the middle to 0. And then now we just literally, any coordinates we get, we just plot them. So if it's negative X, positive Y, it's going to be in this quadrant. If it's negative X and negative Y, it'll be here. If it's a negative Y, positive X here. And if they're both positive, it'll be here. So here are all the circles plotted. We still have to digitize the outside, but you can see that that's making a lot of sense. That looks exactly like what we've got on the mill with the hole pattern. Okay, so now for the fun part, we're going to digitize the outside of this thing, and we're actually going to run a wall following routine. Looks like you could also run a contour. I'm used to wall following. I find it works really well, so that's what we'll do here. And probe tool number, my probe so happens to be number 1. Z patch distance, we're going to leave it 0, and Z step, we're going to leave it 0. So if you look closer here, the Z patch distance is like the total distance in Z that you can probe. I just want to probe around one ring. So, kind of one of these red lines. I don't want to do like multiple heights. So I'm going to leave the Z patch distance as 0 and the Z step as 0. Now the step over, I want to register a hit every, let's call it every 100,000th. Enter there. The file name, we'll call it Vise 1. And approach X plus. So what this means is we're going to start the probe like right here, and then it's going to start moving in X plus until it hits something, and then it's going to follow around the wall. We are following an outside contour, not an inside contour. Cut feed rate, I don't know what that means. Cut direction, I think it will actually write an NC file for you if you want to machine this, but we're good. Jog probe the start location, enter parameter, press cycle start. I hit enter, which I've got enabled as cycle start. Let's verify the probe is working properly. And it is. Okay. Now we are going to go ahead and hit cycle start and take a look at what happens. So it's going to go ahead and do this, and it's just going to step all the way around the part. All right, so the digitizing is finished. It's just gone back to the exact same spot it started at. And now you don't see anything on the Centroid screen, but if you go to the CNCM folder on your computer and then go to NC files, you'll see that the latest file is Vise 1, which is exactly what we named this file. So we're going to go ahead and take this thing and get it into Excel, format it in such a way that we can put it into SolidWorks. All right, so we're in SolidWorks here. This is the data that we manually logged here, manually kind of sticking the probe into every single one of those holes, measuring its size and position, and just plotting it here. And this is that middle hole, or the big main middle bore, and we set the position of the middle of that main center bore to 0 right here at the origin. We can see that because the origin is there. Now let's go get this is our raw data. So this is the file that was spit out by Centroid, the digitizing file, but we have all these comments in here. We have X, Y, and Z in here, and we don't want that. We want, for SolidWorks anyway, we want to create a tab delimited file where we have X's in the first column, Y's in the second column, and Z's in the third column without all of this text and without the actual letters X, Y, and Z. We just want the values inside the, we want a tab delimited file of just the values. So what I'd like to do is, let's close that file. We're just going to create a copy of this data in case we mess it up. We'll have the original. We'll call this cleaned up or something. Okay, so let's open that up. Let's just go ahead and get rid of all of this. Oops. And if I remember right, the first line is always the same as the last line. Minus 3.2503. Minus 3.2503, 0.0722, 0.0722, and then all the Z values are the same because we stayed in the same Z plane. So if I remember right, that might have been causing a convert entities issue for SolidWorks. I could be wrong. You know what? Let's leave it in there just to see what happens because I might be wrong about that. Okay, so we got the comments out. Now what we want to get out is the X, Y, and the Z. So we're just going to save this. We're going to go over to Excel. Hit open. I'm going to hit browse. And we're going to go ahead and open this Vise 1 cleaned up file. Now, because we're not opening an Excel file. This is a sort of a text file. We get this text import wizard, step 1 of 3 up here. And we do see that our data is being recognized, but it's sort of asking us how we want to pull it in. Our data does not have headers, so we're not gonna click on this. But our data is delimited. It's delimited by a space. Like, let's go back here and actually, and this is something I've noticed when we ran a wall following digitizing routine in Centroid, and this is the format that it gave us. It's X space the number space Y space the number space Z space the number. So this data is delimited by a space. And so we are going to tell the Excel wizard that. But something I've noticed that if you run like a contour program, you'll notice that these X, Y, and Z's and things might be gone, or the formatting is actually different. So you'll have to do this case by case. And if anybody watching knows a cleaner or faster way to do this, I'd love to hear from you because I end up doing it this way every time. So our data is delimited by a space. Our data does not have headers. And we'll go next. We are delimited by a space. And as soon as we hit space, you see what happens to the data. We'll hit space, and all of a sudden it puts it into separate columns because it recognizes those spaces. We'll go next, and then I don't know what's going on here. I'm just going to hit finish because it looks good. All right, excellent. So we are going to delete now the A column that has the X, the B column that has the Y, and now the C column that has the Z. And we are just left with our values. And I just know from experience that this is what SolidWorks is expecting. It just wants the X values in the first column, the Y values in the second column, and the Z values in the third column. So this is all good. But now we have to go File, Save As of this. And make sure you're saving it as a tab delimited text file. Because there's other text files. There's this like Unicode text file. There's this text Macintosh, text MS-DOS. I don't think... I could be wrong, but I don't think they all work. What you really want is this tab. No, I've lost it. Where is it? Here we go. The tab delimited text file. And we want to call it Vise base ready for import. Import. Okay. Fine. Save. Great. We're going to go back to SolidWorks. Let's get out of this. And let's go insert curve through XYZ points. Now we're going to browse to that file, and except down here, hit text file. Okay, Vise base ready for import. Oh, this is the silly part. File name entered invalid, not found, locked, or incompatible. Watch this. When you go back to the file and you just add .txt here, it's going to work. Oh. I've got the file open, so it's not letting me. Let's close the file. Let's go .txt. And do not ask me how long it took me to figure that out. These are the finicky things I don't enjoy, but hopefully that saves you some time. Watch with that TXT. There we go. Now it populated all of our values in here, all the digitized values. We're going to go ahead and click OK and check it out. It sort of worked, but it put it on the wrong plane. So, but you can see that is the exact footprint of the Vise base, which is really neat. Now we're just going to have to, this sketch that we created manually by using the machine as sort of a CMM, we plotted it on the top plane. Let's just change this to, I guess, the front plane. There it is. Let's go OK. And now we see things are matching up nicely. Check that out. Isn't that cool? So now we know exactly where the footprint of this thing is. And so I happen to be working on a new table, like a new workbench. It's going to be made of metal. It's going to be multi-purpose for welding and for kind of sitting at the computer. And this is overkill, guys, but I want to see how close to the edge I can laser the holes for this vise while still having it sort of in a good position. So now, although you do see here, it's on a different plane because, and actually we should be looking at it more like this, because we probed these holes and then we had the probe sitting below the top surface when it was running all the way around. So, I mean, that's just a little nuance. It doesn't really matter. But if we create a sketch on the front plane, sketch, and then we go convert entities, and I select curve, won't it let me convert those entities? There we go. So I have converted those entities. We're going to convert those entities into this sketch, and then we're just going to go ahead and create this, like, hit this like 2 inches high. And there we have it. This is the exact footprint of our vise. And now we can go ahead and save that. I'm just going to open the welding bench that I'm working on. All right, so these are, I know what I want the top of the bench to look like, but I don't know which set of legs I like better. Anyway, there's pros and cons. Right now I'm leaning towards this one. And check this out. We can go ahead and bring in the vise base. And now we can plant this right here. Excellent. And we can set it any which way we want. And then we can convert, basically we can convert these holes, into a hole on the table and make sure that we are staying out of the way of any of the ribs and anything like that. And this is okay by a lot of people's standards, totally overkill, but this gives you complete control. Now you can be confident that wherever you put the holes, with 100% certainty that everything is going to line up and everything is going to work just great. So that's one of the things that you get with Centroid that you don't really get with the other guys, is this digitizing package. And I got to admit, I don't use it a lot, but for stuff like this, I absolutely love it because I don't stress at all about whether or not, I put the holes in the right spot or if I'm going to interfere with some of the webbing. When you do something like this, it is going to give you 100% confidence that you've done everything right. So I hope that helps, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, and we'll see you in the next video.